All right, guys, welcome back to another video on MMA. Today we're joined by Johnny Munoz. Fought on the weekend, put on a spectacular performance, and now we're here to talk about it and reflect about his win. How's it going over there, Johnny?
Going great, man. I can't complain. Life's good. I'm just grateful to be here doing what I love and, talking to you.
Yeah, life must be good after the win on the weekend. You put in a fantastic performance, and you were the first fight of the evening, and you were the first finish. I mean, you didn't really give anyone else a chance. You went out there, got the finish in the second round. So how did it feel to kick off the evening with a finish?
That was great, man. Being the first fight, it could be a lot of pressure in a sense because, first fight of the night, you want to set the tone for the rest of the night. And I felt I did that. And I do well under pressure, man. So, I felt good out there, felt natural. And I just felt at home, being out there with the fans and, UFC pay-per-view event. And it was awesome, man. To come finally be able to fight again. It's been a while for me.
Yeah, a big UFC pay-per-view event. We had the heavyweights at the top of the bill. So it was a great event to watch all around. And as we know, moving back to the fight before we talk about that, so as we know, you're a talented grappler. But it seemed like in the first round, you kind of wanted to show the improvement in your striking. Was that the case?
I mean, I want to show the best version of myself. So I wanted everything just to flow. I didn't want to overthink things. And I felt comfortable on the feet. I was throwing my jab out there, staying at a good range. I landed some kicks. I landed an overhand a few times. I felt good on the feet. I felt comfortable. I've been training, working hard on it. I wish I would have connected with more shots, but he kept, backing up a lot. So it's hard for me to follow through. And I didn't want to be impatient, you know what I mean? Because I knew he was trying to counter with an overhand. I figured their game plan was to probably box, but I think I threw him off that I was striking and kind of dictating the pace of it. So I think that's why he was backing up. They were confused a little bit, that corner. And, it worked in my favor. And then, the takedown, it was the weird thing about it. I talked about it. My body just reacted the way he got close. He kind of overcommitted. And I just, boom, and I took him down. They were effortless takedowns. That's the way you want to wrestle in MMA without thinking I'm going to shoot. You know what I mean? It just needs to come natural, saves energy, and it's super effective. So, yeah.
Yeah, as you mentioned there, like just sort of a natural instinct, when it comes and you just boom, that was it. And after that takedown, you got the rear naked choke. 7 out of your 11 wins in MMA have come through submission. So there's no need to talk about your grappling. We know how great that is. And as we mentioned there, your jab was looking on point. You landed a few overhands. Was that a lot what you worked on in camp, is to try and land that jab in this fight?
The jab's super important. It sets everything up. You're a student of striking, boxing. You learn the jab's the most important weapon, and you don't see a lot of guys using it in MMA. But when people do use it, it's super effective. You can dictate everything. And a lot of my coaches tell me to rely on my jab, that I have a good one and got a long reach. So yeah, I just really believed in that, using it to try to set things up, and I feel it worked out. And yeah.
You said after the fight that you felt dangerous inside the octagon. Would you say this was your best performance in your career up to date?
I've had some pretty good performances, but I'm gonna say yeah. Because it was the most recent one, and I feel this was like the first one on the big stage for me. You know what I mean? I felt I showcased a good version of myself. You know what I mean? I think I displayed overall all around skill sets, and I think you compare that to my UFC debut, it looks like I made a lot of improvements, a lot of adjustments, and that's what I really wanted to show in the fight. And I felt I was able to do that, and it's just only going to get better. Each fight, I want to show a better version of myself, and that's what I'm going to do.
As we mentioned earlier, that you were the first fight of the evening. You kicked off the pay-per-view. You got the first finish at the top of the bill. It was Derek Lewis versus Cyril Gahn. What did it mean for you personally to be on a card of that stature?
No, it was cool, man. It was cool to be. It was awesome that I was fighting on a pay-per-view. That was one. Derek Lewis for interim heavyweight title. That was awesome too. Derek Lewis, I'm a cool fan of him. He's a funny guy, cool guy to be around during fight week. And obviously also fighting in an arena with a crowd. It was cool, man. And I feel like I said I do good under pressure, and I felt when I walked out, I knew this was my night. You know what I mean? I knew beforehand, but when I walked out again, I was like, yeah, like I'm not. There's no way I'm losing tonight. Like
yeah,
this is my time.
As you mentioned there, this was the first time you fought inside the UFC, and you had a crowd. So how did it feel to finally fight with fans back in the arena?
No, I felt amazing, man. I'm used to fighting in front of a crowd. On the regional scene, I fought
Yeah.
in arenas an arena similar to that with 10,000, 12,000 people. Like where I fought, like the place was sold out. Like it was a big arena, and people that I had teammates that fought in the UFC before, they told me this is like a UFC feel right here. So I'm used to that. So I think this fight, it was no different. Like this is what I was used to, fighting in an arena of that stature.
Yeah, it was a great evening for most. Did you have time to watch the main event after?
Yeah, so I was able to watch the fights after we got back to the hotel. The fights were on free for us in our hotel room. So yeah, I watched the fight. Yeah, Cyril Gane looked good, man. You know, the guy moves great for a heavyweight technical striker. Derek Lewis was only able to land 8 shots compared to Cyril's like, what was it, 103 or something like that? It was amazing. I think that he really showed how good he is.
Mm-hmm. With a win over Derek Lewis, Cyril Gane now goes on to take on, Francis Ngannou, the scariest man in the planet. So how would you rate Gane's chances against Ngannou?
I think he's going to do fairly well, honestly. I think he's already hard to hit already. So Ngannou hits hard. I think he could avoid that shot. And I think his big advantage would be to take it to the later rounds. You know what I mean? Try to gas Ngannou out. Ngannou is big, powerful, athletic, but that body type's not the most suitable body frame for later rounds. You know what I mean?
Yeah, moving back to your career, the win on the weekend was your first inside the UFC. Did that feel like a lot of pressure off your shoulders? And how does it feel, now you're talking about getting that win in the career? Not many fighters in their career get a win inside the UFC. And now that now you've got that win, you can say that you've accomplished that. So how does that finally feel?
No, it feels good, man. I feel that's what was missing in my career. Like I'm in the UFC, but having a win really, okay, I'm here. Like I'm in the UFC. I feel proud saying I'm in the UFC now. But before, even though the fight, like some people thought I won my first fight, but it's still a loss on my record. I can't change it. So it was always like, man, like it didn't suit right to me. I felt weird, like, oh, I'm in the UFC, but like I didn't win. So I felt like out of place a bit. So now that I got the win, it feels much more better to me. I'm not going to be complacent at all. There's a lot of guys that get complacent, I think, when they come to the UFC. And for me, I just want to keep getting better and showcase why I belong here. And yeah, I think I showcased some of that on Saturday.
Yeah, indeed you did. But we'll head back to your promotional debut, where unfortunately you didn't get the win. As you mentioned there, a lot of people thought you might have got the win. But how did you overcome, getting that promotional loss in your first fight and overcoming that and, getting the win on Saturday?
Yeah, I mean, losing sucks. I mean, I don't think anyone likes losing, but I know what it's like to lose, whether like I've lost in jiu-jitsu competitions. I mean, I know what it's like to lose certain things in life. So for me, like I've always been able to come back from that and bounce back. So for me, it was like no different. Like the experience, I just, got back to the drawing board, worked hard. What do I need to work on? Believe in myself, work on so-and-so, all this, and do what I need to do to get better. And I feel I was able to hit all those marks. And yeah, that's why I felt just so comfortable out there Saturday.
You also mentioned post-fight interview that you would like to get another fight by the end of the year. I'm hearing that the UFC are going to MSG, Madison Square Garden. Surely every fighter's dream is to fight at MSG. That's correct for me to say that you would love to fight MSG?
It'd be great to fight there, man. Honestly, to fight in over there, Madison Square Garden. They have had so many legendary fights there. Pro wrestling, WrestleMania. But honestly, I don't think it's going to happen. I feel like it's going to get moved after what's going on in New York, the vaccine stuff over there. And I think it's going to be real hard to get people in that arena. I mean, with the whole COVID thing, whatever your beliefs are about it, you know what I mean? Obviously, there's people that took the vaccine. There's people that haven't. The people that haven't took the vaccine, I'm pretty sure their mind's not going to get changed. They're not going to take it. So, I mean, it's going to be hard to get that arena. You see Chandler posted out right what he said. So I'm kind of curious on how that event's going to go. You know what I mean? And yeah, and I'm with Chandler. If you don't feel that way, and why if you don't believe in that, you got to go with your own personal choice. So I'm kind of curious to see what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm. Some quick questions to round off the interview. I see you wearing your Reebok shirt, but the UFC and now with Venom, you've experienced both, eras, can we kind of say? So, what was the massive difference between Reebok and Venom, and which one do you prefer?
The designs are way different. I think Venom got more like what's it called? Like crazier designs. Like it's more like boom, like it just explodes. Where Reebok seemed more sporty. And also the sizing. I had to like try different things. Like the sizing was all different. So I had to get that squared away day one. But they're both cool. I think they both have their pros and cons. But it's the Venom era now, so you got to go with Venom on this now. So it's pretty cool. They're paying a little more.
Yeah, you mentioned Michael Chandler. Are you a fan of the sport? Do you like to watch it in your spare time?
Yeah, I like watching the sport of MMA. It's cool. I mean, I'm always like watching it. I rather do it, of course, but yeah, I mean, I'll always watch the sports. You got to stay, up to date what's going on, so you're not aware. So I like watching it.
Yeah, so while you mentioned Michael Chandler, he has a huge fight upcoming against Justin Gaethje, which is going to blow the roof off the place. But what are your thoughts on that, and who you got to win?
Someone's getting knocked out, bro. So that's all I got. Someone's getting knocked out. I'm probably gonna say Justin Gaethje takes that one, but that's gonna be an exciting fight. I mean, can you imagine it being a boring fight? I don't really see how that could be a boring fight.
But once again, we did say that about Francis Ngannou versus Derek Lewis, the first fight.
Well, it's not jinx nothing right here, but
I don't want to be a jinx.
But I feel Chandler and Gaethje, I think they're gonna go right down the center and start swinging. I don't see it going any other way.
I just don't see Justin Gaethje letting that kind of situation happen.
What do you mean?
Like a Francis Ngannou, Derek Lewis versus one fight.
Yeah. No,
I feel Justin Gaethje is going to go in the middle and he's going to swing, and Michael Chandler is going to step straight into the middle as well. But we'll talk about another fight. It's a fight in your division, a rematch. Aljamain Sterling versus Pete Yan, the second fight. I want to ask you, what are your thoughts on the first fight, and how do you see the rematch going?
Yeah, the first fight, I thought it was. I felt like Sterling. The first round, he had a good round, but as the fight was progressing, it was going towards Yan. You seen kind of Sterling on the decline, and Yan was on the rise. That's what I saw from the first fight, and obviously the illegal knee happened and all that. So I'm kind of curious how the second fight is going to play out, if Sterling made any adjustments on that. He had a good first round, but obviously, I mean, just from watching it, it looked like Yan was on the path to victory to me. So I'm kind of curious to see what Sterling's going to do differently, or even what Yan's going to do differently. You know what I mean? I think it's going to be it'll be a good fight, and hopefully we get the result that all the fans want to see.
So who do you predict to win the rematch?
I'm gonna go with Peter Yan on this one. I think I feel like he's the meaner guy out of the two.
Well, yeah, I completely agree with you. With the first fight, Aljamain Sterling had a great first round, and Yan sort of worked his way back into the fight. Looked like it was going his way until the illegal knee. Whatever happened with the illegal knee, was it a little bit of acting or whatever you want to call it? But Aljamain did what he had to do to get the second fight, and now he's put himself in a spot where he's got another chance to fight at the belt, and he's got another. He can right that wrong and beat Peter Yan. So it's going to be a great fight either way.
So this is an important fight for, I think, Sterling. For both, but I think for Sterling has a lot of pressure. Obviously, he's going in as a champ this time, but to prove to everybody that, hey, I'm the real champ. So he needs to go out there and get it done.
Exactly, 100%. Well, it's been fantastic to be joined by you today, Johnny. A fantastic interview. It's been a pleasure to speak to you. Congrats on the win on the weekend, and I hope you enjoy your day.
Thanks for having me on the show, man. And I also want to clear something. I've seen a lot of people on the media or during the fight that I got dropped in the fight in the first round. I did not get dropped. I threw a straight right hand to the body, and he kind of came forward, and then like him coming forward, I lost my footing. So this will cause me to fall down, and I got back up. Yes, I did not get dropped or hurt at all. And I seen that. I was like, Munoz got rocked, and I was trying to did I get rocked? Like, I know when you get rocked, you might forget. And I didn't get dropped. I don't know. Did I get dropped? What did you see in there?
No. It kind of reminded me of you when the way you were saying it there. It kind of reminded me of a Conor McGregor. Maybe when Conor McGregor fought Dustin Poirier, both threw right at the same time. He stepped back and he broke his ankle, but you didn't break your ankle. So it kind of reminded me like that.
Go. Well, thank God I didn't break the ankle, man. Or I would have had a titanium plate on my leg.
Yeah. Well, it's good to see him recovering, and I hope that gladly you didn't break your fight. Now that makes you want fight at the end of the year. So hopefully see you back in the octagon soon.
Thanks, man. Appreciate you for
Thank
having
you.
me, and God bless.